Recording, we're doing it. This is Aural Hygiene. That's where you are. You, the listener, and you, Luke, you're here for Aural Hygiene, where we talk about cult films, educational films, experimental films. This is kind of educational. You learn things.
Yes, it comes under educational films.
Because it's teaching you how to do your job.
Yeah.
Your job. This is Matt. I said my name second today.
Good intro, Matt. Well done.
Thank you.
Solid B minus.
That's a grade you always give. No, it was C minus last time. Okay.
Yeah, you're on the way up. You know.
Okay, cool. Today is just Nintendo training 1991.
Yeah.
A fashionable year for Nintendo, I believe. What year did the Super Nintendo actually come out?
This would be a year. This is probably like a year before it came out in Japan. A couple of years before it hit.
Okay, because I was noticing we were definitely seeing Famicons in this one.
What's interesting about this one? This is when Nintendo are on the top of the fucking world. So they could just send out videos to stores telling them how to handle Nintendo products.
Oh yeah, because I guess this is not their Nintendo traiing for people that are not.
No, this is a training
employees.
They sent out just to Sears, like, hey, this is how you deal with our products. Because they were the only fucking game in town in 1991.
Right.
Sega's right around the corner, and
When's the Genesis come out?
Maybe it's out, but it's not.
It's not on fire.
Yeah.
Sonic
Because I think Sonic is 92, maybe.
Yeah. What was the game that came? Oh, it's the guy
Alex
that flies.
Kidd?
Yes, it was Alex Kidd. Man, he didn't stick around, did he?
No.
Because I was thinking Kid Icarus, but that's still Nintendo.
Yeah.
You might have already given a summary of this one. Do you want to do anything else?
This is a training video about how to handle product returns of Nintendo products at your store.
No, we both worked some kind of retail. You were just supermarket, was it?
Supermarket, yeah, but pretty big one, and I did front desk and everything, so I've done some returns.
Okay, what was my retail? The Radio Shack definitely felt a little bit like this, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I did the Warner Brothers Studio store for a couple, on my vacations, the first couple of years.
Do you want to tell your anecdote about who you served in the Warner Brothers Studio store?
I think I did that on a podcast, but yeah, I had Chris Tucker come up, and he was nice. He was fun to talk to, and his credit card was denied. And he did seem kind of embarrassed and sorry about it. So good for him. I guess he was having some financial issues at the time. Maybe Rush Hour 2 checks had not come in.
I was about to say this is the exact moment that he decided to demand more money for Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, really.
So, but Jackie Chan's fucking credit cards don't get denied.
I think I was, hey man, I think you got to talk to the manager because I don't know what to do. So I'm not taking this any further. I'm just a 19-year-old schlub here, dude. So. But this is more hardcore. We have our narrator who takes a few minutes out, but in close-ups, he looks like Gary Cole, and in wide shots, he looks like Peter Weller.
And in all scenes, he looks like a guy wearing a whole can of fake tan. He's like the most made-up man I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he wants to be a beautiful man.
I don't think that's his real skin, his real hair. Maybe that's not his real eyes.
He stole Peter Weller's face.
Yeah. He's got the stretched on face, like when Robocop takes the helmet off.
Right. Yeah. So but I was seriously wondering a second or two, who are we seeing? Is this somebody I should know? But I'm sure he's just a dude. I'm not sure. Maybe we should have looked it up. But
he looks like he's probably in Troll 2 or something.
Good movie, man.
So
if you're in the right mood and on the right drugs.
The problem with watching this video and trying to do a podcast about it is it was just fine.
It got the point across.
It did. It's short and to the point, 8 minutes, which I guess when you're at work and you have to watch an 8-minute video probably isn't that short. But
that's an eternity.
I mean, for me, it's great. I get to sit and watch video and not do any work for 8 minutes.
Yeah, there's that.
It's a bargain. But it wasn't hilariously bad. It wasn't hilariously good. It's just fine.
The customers were properly annoying though.
They got that pretty guaranteed. The first customer we see is just this old business guy who thinks he just gets what he wants.
He took a shit on his Nintendo.
Yes.
Or his kids took a shit on it.
Got the dirtiest fucking Nintendo I've ever seen. And he's like,
it was brown.
Oh, well, no. The kids didn't put anything on it. They're good kids.
They're angels.
And then the staff members even stuck his hand to it or whatever. Did I ever have anyone return anything that fucked? clearly fucked by themselves.
I don't think I had to do returns at any point, so that's cool.
I did do some returns, and usually it was, I mean, to be honest, I just fucking gave them whatever they wanted. I didn't care. Which is the correct response, by the way. The company's money is not your money. You owe them nothing.
Give it all away.
Public service announcement. If you ever see someone stealing baby food, no, you didn't.
What if they're stealing it and eating it? Well, they probably still need it, don't they? But they
Robocopy's baby food. You can tell Robocopy's not allowed it.
I'm just saying, like, they could have gone a mile over and found like something better.
Yeah.
Would you rather eat the dog food or the baby food?
Ooh, good question.
I'll throw in cat food too, just for fun.
I think I have eaten baby food. Like when I was feeding, because I'm much older than my siblings, so I would have fed them as babies. I'll fucking try some of this baby food.
I never tried my daughter's baby food.
But the dessert stuff's fine. It's just custard with bananas in it and shit.
Yeah.
The so-called savory stuff probably isn't great. I don't really recall.
So you'll stick with the baby food then.
But I guess I've never tried dog food, so maybe if tomorrow I've got to eat one or the other, yeah, maybe I'll try the dog food.
There's that
Just kick the table.
there's that scene in Showgirls where they like reminisce over eating dog food.
Oh yeah.
So it could be quite delicious. I don't know. It doesn't look good, but you know, in Japan there's monjiaki. Have you had a monjiaki?
I know of it. Maybe I have actually.
It's like okonomiyaki, right? Okay, so this is where you put things on like a hot plate, like a giant hot plate, and do it. And with monjiaki, you have to like make this kind of volcano of manja and like vegetables and stuff, and then pour in the sauce, and then like you use these weird little shovel things to like against the hot plate and then eat it. If you ever do get the chance, Mentaiko cheese monjiaki is the shit. But my point is, it looks like vomit,
right?
Yeah, but it's pretty delicious.
Well, that's the biggest hurdle with most Japanese food for me, is it doesn't look like stuff I want to eat, but it's probably fine.
This one you have to make though, so it's like, well, I made it and I gotta eat it, you know?
Well, I guess you know what's in it at that point.
You shit in your bed, you gotta sleep in it, you don't clean that up.
The head teacher at my junior high school and high school, he did an assembly for it, which apparently he does for every year, where he has a can of dog food, gets a volunteer up from the assembly, gets them to eat some of the dog food, and takes the label off, reveals it was actually just Irish stew with the label changed.
Fucking Irish.
It's something about like not judging a book by its cover or whatever. But it's just the dumbest,
Irish,
dumbest, shittiest, most obvious metaphor ever. But I just remember the fact that I think it was Shep. Martin Shepard got up and ate some dog food in assembly.
The first job I had in Japan, their training, they had this thing where the CEO would just show up for like one day and talk to the new recruits, right? And he'd do this thing where he'd like start talking about ki and stuff, right? You know, like power, and be like, he'd sit in a chair and he'd be like, try and push me over, or maybe standing. And his ki was, you know, and apparently he did this like every 2 weeks, every month, something like that. And you know, his ki kept him strong. But you know, when I was in training, the dude just pushed him the fuck over.
So yeah, I was listening to a story of a guy who was in Japan, and some like old kung fu guy was like, try to arm wrestle me, you can't beat me. And he just instantly beat him, and the guy left the bar in shame. So yeah, sometimes those techniques just don't work, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did work. I did actually have to do a second training, and he kept doing it, and the second time it did work. So
right.
And I was there for the fluke, it seemed.
Well, it's like Houdini, right? Usually you can take a punch in the gut one time, it kills him. I know it's because he wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder how long that guy worked at that company.
The one who pushed him over?
Yeah.
He's the president now.
Yeah.
That's how it works. He dethroned him. The second training he went to, that was the guy who pushed the other guy over.
Oh.
Just, you know, he changes form once he takes on.
Right.
No, this same head teacher, he did another assembly where it was about racism and not being racist. But you're going to have to, I can't do this. But he basically just came to the front of the stage and he starts his assembly by listing all the racial slurs. And then at the end, he's like, you know, goes on about how you shouldn't say them. But most of us hadn't heard half of these words. And I fucking learned them that day.
Yeah, it's like, you just taught me something, man.
You just taught a bunch of 12-year-olds some swear words to say that are definitely offensive. So we used them a lot for a year or two.
I wonder how long I kept doing that. Okay. So that's the first guy that shows up. That got us there somehow. The second guy, you were like, oh, they called him a bully.
Yeah,
so why
the narrator's line is like, and then there's the kind of customer who tries to bully you into exchanging an item that has nothing wrong.
He was a psycho dork bully, though.
But yeah, he was
He's
the
a-
textbook nerd. He had literally some like eyeglasses done up with tape.
Mm.
And then he comes in like, oh, well, I've got this on Nintendo console that is not functioning.
You seen Revenge of the Nerds?
Probably like 20 years ago.
Okay, because the nerd like straight up like takes advantage of a cheerleader,
Hmm.
like in a revenge porn way.
Yeah, that's the main thing I'm aware of about that film. So it's kind of fucked up in that way.
So I'm just saying, like, this guy is bullying from that perspective, I guess.
Oh yeah, like
hell, he's gold, you know. I mean, he doesn't have that shit against him.
like yeah, the most dangerous people these days are fucking bedroom dwelling nerds, right? Like you know, cool jocks don't shoot up their school.
What's wrong with taping up your glasses? That seems like a cool thing.
No, but I'm just saying.
Would the nerd like want to go get new glasses as quickly as possible?
I mean, Matt, the reasons
The
people
nerd
bully
dork.
people are not fair. I'm not saying this guy deserves to get beaten up at school. Just saying he looks like he did.
Well, he deserves it because of his
he's, you know,
bullying at the
shitty to customer service systems,
GameStop. What was it? We had Babbage's, named after the
I've heard of Babbage's,
computer inventor of well, the punch card.
Do you know what the
computers.
biggest computer game stop in England is called?
Fuck you.
Game.
So you were like, GameStop?
Oh, we're just Game. GAME. I
It'd
think now Game and GameStop are owned by the same company.
be cool if it's spelled GAYM.
Game. For the gamers.
Shit, I think I just
You did not make that joke, don't worry.
I just made a new company. Did someone start the company?
No, but that's probably. I know PlayStation put out a rainbow colored PlayStation that said for the gamers with the Y in there.
Oh, okay. Oh well. Yeah, I guess it's obvious once you think about it.
Yeah,
I never thought about it before. That's the issue.
well, that's the problem, mate. Man, never thought about the gamers. Yeah, I don't know. This guy was just comes in with the OG Game Boy, starts fucking just had the contrast turned off or whatever.
But I guess the point is he knew exactly what the fuck was wrong. What was it? It was like I shouldn't have spent all this money on the Game Boy, and now I'm gonna get rid of it.
The Game Gear just came out and it had color graphics. And this guy's a
Not
fucking idiot.
91.
The game. The interesting thing about the Game Boy is when it came out, there were already a bunch of machines that did everything better.
Was Lynx out?
Yeah, Lynx, Game Gear.
Okay.
They were all around that time. The problem is they didn't have the battery life and they cost too much and they were fucking huge.
Mm.
Nintendo genius at that time was making old technology work for them.
See, my Game Boy experience was mostly a dude like in still elementary school. Like he would a few weekends he'd loan to me his Game Boy. I'm like, why did he loan me his Game Boy on a weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because you probably got a home console at home. You
Oh
just played the
yeah.
Game Boy at the fucking toilets at school.
Yeah, maybe he was grounded. I don't know. Anyway, that's where I got through all my Mario World and stuff. I didn't make it to Wario on the Game Boy, but
Me either, actually. That came up in my podcast recently. Oh, you heard that? That's why you brought it up.
no, it's not.
Okay. I know you listened to that one because you did the Uncharted bit.
Yeah, I heard some of it, so
Yeah.
I think that must have been later on.
It's
so.
like the next line after you probably did hear it.
Oh.
But yeah, Game Boy for a long time was all I had because you only had one TV at home
Mm.
and I wasn't allowed to hog it for games. So I only played like an hour a day of everything else. So I played hella Game Boy. Heck, I played a Game Boy today.
Oh, old school.
Oh, well, Game Boy Micro.
Okay,
I played it on the toilet at work.
is that the Advance?
It's the really, really small, sexy Advance, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I always wanted one back in the day, but they were very expensive and not necessary. But now I'm in the position to buy expensive, unnecessary things.
I was in that position. I got back out of it. Oops.
Yeah, that's why I ain't having no kids.
But yeah. Well, when I did have that, I just rocked my.
You bought a lot of guitars, right?
Yeah. When I have Game Boy money, it goes to a guitar. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's cooler and sexier.
Yeah, I guess it is. I guess it's cooler if you like I can like blues jam than I can fucking speedrun Mario.
Boss Mario, yeah.
I don't know. Some people are fucking. There's girls out there fucking impressed by someone who speedrun Mario.
There are people who are impressed by speedrunning Mario, but are they impressed and also turned on? I don't know the answer to that.
Someone is.
Someone out there is, yeah.
There's something for everyone, right? Okay.
Listen, if you're a listener and you would blow me because I can speedrun Super Mario Brothers, let me tell you, I can do it in under 7 minutes.
I can't make that claim. No.
Can you
no.
make me come faster than I can finish Super Mario Brothers? That's a challenge that I am willing to take on with you.
That's our $150 Patreon wall.
Fuck it, I'll pay you. Wait, no, that's probably, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't pay
I
people
do
for
not want
this.
to pay someone to blow me.
That does happen.
This episode is now evidence in a solicitation case. That
Okay.
doesn't count if you pay for it.
I think that brings us to the wall with customer number 2. And customer number 3 is what, the legit customer?
Yeah, it's just her kid, but her problem was just the kid was plugging it into the wrong slot.
So
It was a you can fix it in the store problem.
so the real message of this film is kids are fucking stupid.
No, the rest of the film is that parents are fucking stupid,
Mm.
and that having kids doesn't mean that you know anything. I hate that shit. Oh, you'd understand if you had children. No, I understand because I read about this. You don't understand. You're blinded by your fucking hormones. Shut up.
I've never rocked that line.
I think you should lose the ability to vote when you have children.
Usually people are just like that basically is where I went, because once I had children, I moved back to Japan, and voting became a very laborious, like, postal sending back and forth involved process. So, and then it's like, do you want to vote for these people? No. That's been what, the last 3 elections or something.
Oh, I heard that you were a big Hillary Clinton stan.
Woo woo.
Yeah, like, because what this film is actually getting at is just like Nintendo has loads of products returned when there's fuck all wrong with them. We're sending out a brochure to tell you how to do your jobs.
I wonder if that happens now, because you're usually ordering online, and that again, just like me not bothering to vote because I have to take 8 steps for people I don't want to vote for. You do want your Nintendo though.
I sent my 3DS, my British one, in to be repaired recently. They just sent it back without fucking touching it. I think probably because it is like the paperwork, I left it like 3 months, also it's British. And they probably didn't read in English what I'd written. But yeah, I got it. Not even looked at, I think. But when I have sent things to be repaired in the UK, they've been pretty good about it. I've had to pay sometimes.
What was wrong with it?
Oh, I keep dropping them and smashing the hinges.
No.
And then famously, I had the new 3DS. That's actually the name of the console, new 3DS. I had it in my pocket about a week after it came out and spilled gravy all over my pants.
Speaking of hinges, what's with you and hinges?
Well,
Hinges
hinge is
are
just the weak
suckers.
point of stuff, and I drop all my shit. But yeah, what Matt is referring to is that we're recording this on a laptop that is basically now without hinges. The screen is only attached by some wires.
And we've been doing this for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got clamps attached to the back of my table to keep it up. It's all good.
See, I have a new computer, but I'm like, God, I gotta get the software again. I gotta find an audio interface, and it's just I got this new computer that I'm not using.
I'm thinking of getting a new one.
Mm.
Hey, hinges. This one crashes if I try and stream. I would like to do a bit of streaming.
No, mine gets a little clunky, but it's still functioning. But when it stops functioning, I'm like, well, okay, now I have the motivation for this one that's in my closet.
Yeah, I guess it's nice to have the second one there ready, right?
What's like my wife called me on a Saturday, or messaged me on work on Saturday. It's like, oh, it's a good deal. And I said, I really don't think I'm going to end up using it for a while. Then they got it anyway. So yeah, I should probably step up my game and do that. But
You're Matt.
yeah. I know. It's like, yeah, I'm 43 years old. I got this computer I've had since I was 30 years old. It's like, I want to part with that. It works.
Yeah.
Does my shit. Got to upgrade your Nintendo though. You don't want to just rock a old school NES like exclusively now.
I mean, some people do.
I mean,
maybe they're happier for it.
Yeah, there's a certain. I mean, that's why I said you don't want to just rock it.
It's not that the new games are better, but being part of the. Some people like being part of the zeitgeist and the conversation. And other times I'm like, oh, I think I'd be happier if I just removed myself from that. Played what I feel like.
I'll easily I'll always put the Super Nintendo over the NES.
I do for the most part, but I do really like the original NES Super Mario Brothers.
Well, yeah,
it
that's
plays
a classic.
so tightly and quickly.
True. But
Like Super Mario World is amazing and probably a better game, but there's just something very simple and clean about the original.
What's better, 3 or first? I think my vote would go for 3.
But see, to me, it's between 3 and World are the two. But that's what I mean. They're better, but there's just something different about one.
Right. Yeah. You can speed run it more easily, I guess.
Yeah,
You cannot
super.
speed run Super Mario 3, I think. Can
Oh,
you?
you can.
Oh, but
Matt,
you gotta
you can
get,
speed run everything.
but you gotta spend all that fucking time on maps. Sometime you gotta spend some time on maps, right?
Mate, do you want me to find out right now what the Super Mario Brothers 3 world record is?
Sure.
I'm going to tell you right now. It's real fast.
Okay, so you will do the original in 7 minutes, right? That's the original.
I mean,
7 minutes.
I like 15 years ago I could. I probably can't now.
I mean, I'm not.
If there's a blowy on the
I'm not
line,
gonna
then
call
yeah.
you on it.
Yeah, I know it's not as fast as 1, but it'll be fast.
Okay, that's coming up now. That is 1
hour and 9
oh,
1 hour and 9 minutes.
But that's an hour. Okay, it's not 7 minutes. That's my point.
But yeah, I'm still saying you can speed run it. But yeah, it's
oh,
not
you
the
can
same
speed run.
league.
I'm just saying you can't do a 7-minute run on that shit.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anything else you want to
The
say
viewers
about?
had to watch us fucking lean into the camera and disappear while we checked that.
Anything else we want to throw out on the Nintendo today?
No, but I think I can't really recommend that people go and watch this training video we just watched.
No, we just talked shit about interesting Nintendo stuff and got on that weird tangent. I forgot what it was, and I'll remember when I listen to this.
I mean, I guess if you want to go and chuckle at that nerd we made fun of, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. I guess do your thing, because I have a like overwhelming urge to take a whiz, and you can tell people about your gamer podcast because you have like 18 of them.
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can find this podcast and others like it by going to patreon.com/podcastias, where you can give just $1 a month to hear episodes early. Also, at that link, you will find the other podcasts I create, like Monster Mash and Monster Hunter Pod. Man is pissing with the door open. That's on audio for sure.
I was kind of hoping it was, because that's fun. Did you finish the plug?
No! I don't want to talk about plugs right now. Fucking, I was about to plug my shit and you did that. I know, I do a Monster Hunter podcast. I do a Pokemon podcast. I've just launched a new podcast while the Monster Hunter one is on hiatus. It's called Game Show. It's a game show about games. It's on Twitter at Game Show.
What the fuck? Think about all that.
There's your outro.
That's fine.